David Matlin coming to you live from Tel Aviv here as we continue our broadcast this hour and our conversation that we unfortunately cut leading into the break here with attorney Salzan Zahar. She's the Deputy General Director for Adalat, the Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights in Israel. Salzan, thanks for staying with us, and sorry again to cut you going into the break there. We were discussing the fact that now the 40 or more municipalities on this red list of virus hotspots, many happen to be the Arab communities around the country, many of the largest, in fact, and now asking you about how ready the communities are to comply with these curfew orders and different restrictions coming into place, and if they have problems.
I started to basically to explain that yes, the community, including the mayors of the Arab towns, not only they are now ready to comply with the instructions of the Ministry of Health, but they have been ready since March. Not only they have been ready, they have been demanding, asking, and even petitioning the High Court in Jerusalem in order to demand for like instructions in Arabic, which were lacking in Arab towns, in order to demand equal budgeting like Jewish towns, which they didn't receive. And we had to approach the Supreme Court in order to get more budget for Arab towns. They have been demanding also through submitting a petition to the Supreme Court to have drive-in tests for Corona since March, and only after legal intervention they got it. So now, unfortunately, we have got to a situation where most of the 40 towns that are enlisted on the as red towns are Arab towns. But we cannot come and look on the result today. We have to see what are the defaults of the Israeli government towards these Arab towns, also balancing with how I said before, the fact that the people themselves, the residents themselves, should also apply with the instructions of the Ministry of Health. But we cannot come and just look on one side whether the people are ready or not, but what we also need to look at what the government has been doing since March. And why this is important, because we are now also, as a human rights lawyer, I'm answering in this perspective, and this attitude is like dealing with the pandemic should be a human rights issue in terms of the right to health. And this, the ability to provide and protect and fulfill the right to health to everyone equally is an obligation on the state. So the fact that the government is maybe providing and fulfilling the right to health to combat Corona in some towns differently than other towns, this means that this is an obligation that is not being fulfilled equally by the state of Israel.
Well, certainly you're highlighting one of the, unfortunately, many shortcomings so far in the government's virus response, and we hope for better times here. And certainly as new regulations coming in, that the numbers will start to go down everywhere. Salzan Zahar, thanks for being with us.